And now I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite little mics. This is something that's fun to set up. Let me move this out of the way. Are these little guys? These are plant mics. They're not real plants. I picked them up from Walmart, pack of 3, I think, or 4 for about 20 bucks. And they're just fake plants. I thought they looked really cute. On the back, I mounted some Velcro. And what that allows me to do is mount cold shoes. I purchased these little cold shoes, stuck a piece of Velcro on there, soft Velcro. Now I'm able to put those cold shoes right on the plants. And then I can clip these little Rødes right like that. That microphone is just below the edge of the plant. So if you're seeing that from the other side, you're not going to see it. You see it's kind of concealed by the plant. And I would set those up like that. So I was able to put a couple mics on I had one mic on a table and another mic over by the chair. And these come in really handy. So that literally turns a plant mic into a plant mic. Isn't that clever? If you were in an outdoor situation, you could also put the little fuzzy windscreen that goes on the top there. You could just clip a couple of those on there in case there's wind noise, and that would take care of that. But in the indoor situation, I just used them just like that. And that's the beauty of these Røde transmitters. They're so easy to hide and clip anywhere. In a pinch, you can just clip it right onto an actor's lapel. They record for a long time. They do transmit at the same time. They're pretty cheap. You get a pair of these, you know, for about 300 bucks with the receiver as well, and a little kit that has the cables, the windscreens, some stickers, stuff like that. So I'm still in love with the Røde. I haven't graduated to something more professional, but these have been working great for me for years. There's also a way that you can go into Røde Central in the app, and when you go to the individual transmitters, you can set it up so that they individually record the minute you turn them on. I have them set up as a backup record, and you want to make sure that that is engaged to do a backup recording because it defaults to off. And I did learn that the hard way, so I didn't have a backup recording on these. I was a little bit upset about that because I had updated the firmware, as I always do with all my equipment. When I updated that firmware on these transmitters, it defaulted to off. It was not recording. So although the transmitters were working, I was getting my recording back at the field recorder, it was not making a backup recording in here. So be careful of that, guys. It was not a notice that went out from Røde. I'm sure they're real sorry about that, but you got to go in there and turn on that backup recording, otherwise you won't have that. If you wanted to, additionally, or instead of that, you could turn on the always record function on your transmitter. And that means as soon as you turn on the unit, you power it up, it's recording. No matter what the camera is doing, on or off. These are like little mini spy mics. They're going to record for 7 hours, whether they're plugged into anything or not. Let's turn them on. And you can have one set like that and the other set to just be a backup recording, or you could have them both set to always record. I usually don't do that. I usually just leave them in as a backup recording. Say you were recording a wedding and you didn't want to miss anything, you could just turn these on, clip them to the bride and the groom or something like that, and record the whole day. It's going to be a little harder to sort out later in editing, but it's a great way to get a long 7-hour recording. And turn those off. Yeah, but just make sure you've got that backup recording engaged, and that'll serve most of your purposes. You can also see that I've got my Røde Wireless Go II receiver right there. That's what that is. And that's plugged into 2 of the inputs of the Zoom unit. I believe this one is plugged into inputs 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. So that's my main input. I've got a second transmitter that I'm actually using right now to record this audio, but the second transmitter would go right there, and I just plug that in, and that goes into inputs 3 and 4. So that's my lavs, my Røde lavs 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm using units 1 and 2 right now, so. And it's very easy to unclip that switch it around. I labeled the cables so I don't get them mixed up. You see I've got it labeled 1 and 2, and it would go there. 3 and 4 would go on the other one. Plug them in and clip them on. These cables do not come with the Rhodes or anything. I bought these on Amazon. I can be happy to give you the link to that list of cables and connectors that I use. Just drop me an email and I'll send that to you. It's not a promotion or anything like that, or a marketing email. I'm just, I've got the list of all the different cables that I use, and I try to provide that for you guys so you can not have to search around for hours like I did to find all these miscellaneous cables. I've also purchased a lot of cables that didn't work. You know, that's kind of the trial and error part of me. So I probably got a few $100 worth of little adapters and cables that just don't work for anything, but maybe later on they'll work for something else. I've got a drawer full of them, but these are the cables that actually work the best for me and I've had no problems with. So if you'd like that list, just drop me an email. You can find my email in the more information section at the bottom of this video. One of the things I like to do, I mean, this is the best way to, obviously, to store that. When you're on the move, you want to zip everything up, put the cover on so it's protected. But when you're actually recording, one of the things I like to do is get those Rode receivers up on, just clip them on the top there. Then you can kind of zip up each side. They're going to receive a lot better on the top like that. It makes a difference. If they're concealed down inside, you're going to get a little more, some dropouts. This bag is actually designed for other types of lav receivers that will, where the antennas will typically poke out of the top of the bag. That's something I'm also looking into. But I've been very happy with the Rode at the level that I'm at. If you get them out of the bag like that, they work a lot better. Plus, as you can see, I'm able to see them, not to mention turn them on and off quickly. When they're out like that, you can sort of, there we go, see what's going on. And then there's the other 2 units for that. Just fire those up real quick. Turn them both on. There we go. And you can see right away that I've got levels coming in from those 2 guys, 3 and 4. Those are my lav transmitters, or secret squirrel microphones, as I like to call them. And they're getting back to the unit just that easily. You can also keep an eye on your batteries. You can see that these 2 transmitters, the battery is significantly depleted. They're about to go. And as a matter of fact, this receiver is showing 0 battery, so that's about to turn off. I'm going to recharge that. If your transmitters and receivers are about to die and you've been recording on them for a few hours or whatever, you can, during a break or lunch, you can plug this cable into the other side of that USB bank and quickly plug them into this just to charge them. Even for a half an hour or an hour during your lunch break, they'll be charged up by the time you get back. So it's something I'd highly recommend. Is what do you do when your lavs go down? Because if your lavs, or your, worse yet, your receiver powers down and you don't have a spare, everybody's going to be waiting for you to charge up your stuff. I've been there, and it's quite embarrassing. You know, the whole crew's waiting for you to charge 2 little Rode units. It's another good reason to have a backup pair of fully charged receivers and transmitters. In this case, that's about to power down, but as you can see, I can keep it all right on top of the unit, and that's what I'm looking at when I'm on the go, except I'm usually looking at a second receiver right there. Pretty nice, huh? When I'm done, I just clip those back in there. The last thing I'll say about these Rode devices is that Rode has been a really nice company. Again, our boy Curtis Judd did us all a favor by writing a letter to Rode. I think he did that on his YouTube channel as well. He said he was no longer going to be supporting or reviewing products that didn't have a replaceable battery. He was a big proponent of not filling up landfills with lithium batteries. The nice thing about these is that they're rechargeable. There are no batteries. You just plug them into USB power and you can charge them right up. The bad thing about them is that after 3-4 years, maybe even 2 or 3 years of constant use, that battery is not going to hold a charge as well. And no lithium batteries do, camera batteries, but once they're depleted or not holding a charge, they don't hold a charge for 10 hours like they're supposed to. They might drop down to 2 or 3 hours of battery life, which is not enough for a full day of shooting or even a half day. So they're a real pain in the ass to keep up and keep charged for those kind of time frames. There's no way to switch out that lithium battery. And that was one of the things Curtis Judd had a big problem with. Is he said, I'm not gonna support that kind of company anymore. If you can't send, you couldn't even send them back to the company and have the batteries replaced. They just become space junk or landfill junk. And as a response to that, surprisingly, Røde responded with a communication that said that we will extend the warranty on all of our products, or at least our lithium battery products, to 5 years from the date of purchase, which means that if you're experiencing that problem with drained battery life, you can send the units back to Røde and they will replace them with brand new units, or at least units that are in a brand new condition with brand new batteries, and recycle all of the parts that they could from the old ones. So that was an environmentally responsible thing that they did. And it really brightened my day because I was able to not have to go out and purchase another pair of, or in my case, 4 microphones to get my full battery life back. So hats off to Curtis Judd for doing that. Hats off to Røde for responding like that. It's a good Australian company from down under, and I really appreciate that they've done that for us because I really like the products. I'll plan to continue using them for years. My only question is the next pair of batteries run thin after about 3 or 4 years, will they honor that again? Or are they going to say, no, you actually had a pretty good ride here. You need to go ahead and buy some new units. But anyway, enough said about that. If you've got older Røde Wireless Go's or even the ones before that, you just need to go on and make sure that the product is registered on their website. Even if you didn't do it when you first bought them, you can go on and register them now, and then put in a work order, send an email and put in a work order. And when you send them in, they'll replace them and send them back to you, basically brand new. So sure appreciate that. What I'd like to do right now is go over some of the little microphones that I used on set the other night, and I'll show you what I usually bring with me to a gig. Nothing too fancy, just stuff that I like to have in my gig bag. I don't bring my top-end microphones from the recording studio out in the field, with the exception of my boom mic. That's obviously I use for field recording. But I do bring some nice mics, a couple for my drum kit that I'm going to show you right now. Let's get this out of the way. One of my favorite mics to break out is my old Røde NT1. It's a nice mic that Røde makes. It's not an expensive mic. These are really well known. It's kind of a poor man's U87, I think is the way a lot of people describe it. Bring one of these or a pair of these if you have two. They're really robust. They take a beating. You can drop them. If it gets stolen or lost, it's not the end of the day. You know, I think they're about 100, 150 bucks. And they're very easy to find. You can ship them Amazon. Really, really handy. I use this mainly for a center mic, center stage. I put it up, make sure it's facing the right direction. Unfortunately, there's no way to adjust the settings of it. You can't go to an omni or cardioid or a figure 8. I think it's just a cardioid position. But if you face that towards the stage, that's a good center mic. Also, it could be used for an announcer's mic, maybe with a windscreen. If somebody wanted to come up and talk right into it, they could. Even without a windscreen, you're probably going to be all right. Okay, so that's a really good general purpose mic to have. Center stage. I also like to bring these guys. These are non-powered microphones. Keep there. And they don't even make these anymore. These are biodynamic mics, M201s. These are the NC cardioids. You can't really get them anymore, but these are not powered microphones. They're heavy. They're sort of like SM57s. That's probably the other mic you could use for these if you wanted to mic up something without using phantom power. These are great for that. These are really good on drums, by the way, kick and snare or tom-toms. I don't know why I wrapped them up. They're really tough mics. You put those away. And you might have seen me use these in previous videos. These are my alt mics. Whoops. These are the Audex mics that I like in my drum kit for overheads. These are the ADX51s. They give you 2 for overhead cymbals and 1 presumably for your hi-hat. When I'm out in the field recording, I'm probably not recording a drum kit at home. So I bring these with me. These are just really nice multi-purpose phantom-powered microphones. They do have, you can adjust the settings there if you want to pad or roll off 150 hertz. I would never want to do that for anything but cymbals, but those are indented, so that's not going to happen inadvertently. They're black, so you can mount them overhead in a audience and not going to call attention to themselves, you know. That's what I was using for my boom mics. And they will suck some power out of your F8n Pro, so make sure you've got that battery kicking. Otherwise, you're going to drain those AA's lickety-split, and you're going to be taking a midnight run to the gas station. I always bring some multi-purpose mic clips. These are nice because they can handle just about any size mic you want, from a big old 58 down to one of those pencil mics like I use. Okay, so have some of those. And if you're jumping between boom poles and mic stands and all that kind of stuff, you never quite know what you're going to be doing. You might need something like that. You might need something like that. I'm usually hot swapping all kinds of stands and stuff. So one of the things I did was purchase these guys. I think I showed you that a little bit earlier. Get a pack of 8 of these. This is just 2 of them. Those are real handy to get from one type of screw to another. You know, you never know what you're going to be up against there. So I recommend getting a pack of those. Again, I'll post the link for you. I always bring these with me too, a little container. I've got all my windscreens, dead cats for all my different microphones. Okay. And I've got the boom handle for my Deity boom microphone, which I'll show you. And this is just if I wanted to take that off and mount it like that, so I can do a short boom basically. There's the mount for the Rode microphone. I've also got a stereo clip. If I'm doing a stereo configuration, I can put 2 of those pencil mics up on here for stereo recordings. Here's the Røde Video Mic that I use. That's what I use for my wireless boom. It's powered by USB, and I've got a little piece of Velcro mounted on there also, so that I can easily mount something to that. A little windscreen that comes with it, and that comes with this shock mount as well. That's included with the package, just like the other mic that I showed you. So, and this is nice because it's got the little place underneath where the Rode mic slips right in there. That's something that the Deity mic does not have, is that little mount right there. I've got a rubber band on there as well, just so I can secure it even more if I need to, if it's flopping around. And that I can mount on my boom pole or on top of my camera. That goes just about anywhere. And I love that little transmitter slides right in there, and then you can just go completely wireless with that. It's real secure. And the last thing I've got in here is this little gooseneck adapter. Those come in handy sometimes if you're trying to position a mic. One of those is not bad to have. Like I said, a whole assortment of different dead cats, foam, all kinds of stuff like that that might come in handy. If you're out in a windy, blustery day, you've got to have that stuff. You can kind of squish it down too. Keep that all in a box like that. Seal it up real good. Last thing I'm going to show you is the Deity S-Mic 2 broadcast quality shotgun microphone from Deity. That might be my new favorite company. I'm still a big Rode guy, but Deity's coming in strong with some great values on microphones. And this basically rivals some much more expensive migrophones that I'm not going to mention the name of here right now, but it's really sounding and looking just about the same. I've had nothing but great results with it. The way it comes with a nice a nice long windscreen like that. Or included with that is the dead cat. If you wanted to do that as well, you could. It's a little tricky to get on there, but you stuff that down in there. Like so. And if you're outdoors, that's kind of a must. Any light breeze, you're going to want to have some kind of a dead cat on there, like so. You see? Looks funny too. Looks like a rodent. The foam is not going to do much in a stiff breeze. That'll be good for a light breeze or if you're indoors with a fan or something like that. But if you're outdoors, I'd highly recommend putting that on there. And as I recall, that came with the microphone. Comes with a nice basic clip and a great case. It all fits nicely in this case, and really I feel very secure about that on the road in a gig bag or a suitcase. There you go. And that is a powered microphone, but it is not a wireless microphone. That's going to go. That's going to be wired with an XLR cable to your field recorder. The only thing that I'm not really covering here is the nice boom stands that I have for microphones. I can also use them for lights, things like that. They're not C stands. I got some nice impact overhead booms that are much more lightweight than the C stands, and they extend out a lot farther than I could get with a C stand. So I'll use those to mount the lightweight microphones overhead. They extend up to about, I would say, about 12 feet in the air. They're really high. They were about $100 each, well worth it. They come in so handy, I can't tell you, for not just for mics, but for lightweight LED lights. You can put diffusers or flags on them if you're trying to reflect some light. Just about anything you can put up on the end of that boom pole, but mainly being able to put a boom mic over an actor or something while they're talking, so you don't have to use a regular mic stand or try to rig up some heavy C stand with a fishing pole adapter. You can just drop these in place. I can take two with me very easily on airplanes, and they're really quite a deal. So I'd recommend looking into something like that if you're on the go. And what I'll do is typically one of these just right off the top like that, so you can't quite see it. You can position it however you want, and they're nice. They've got a nice heavy base, 1 or 2 sandbags in the bottom, and I'm not worried about somebody bumping into it. Just make sure they're high up enough that nobody's going to crack their head on it when they're walking by. Always do a safety check. I hope this has been helpful for you, and as always, thanks for watching, and aloha from Hilo, Hawaii. Shoots, bro.